later in this video. I was going back and forth because back then when I was waiter, the fucking hideous time of my whole life, just I had to be a waiter because I had no experience and I had to live, I had to survive. I didn't have, as I said, financial support or family and friends. So my life as a waiter was just very getting dizzy, just back and forth, going up and down, doing things for people. And I couldn't eat properly back then, like they didn't feed me properly, so I was always dizzy, and the more I was dizzy, the more I made mistakes, and the more I made mistakes, they called me useless. So you can feel like this was only fair for me, that I wanted to contemplate suicide all the time. But yeah, back and forth, just they made me, I was dizzy my whole life basically, especially when I was a waiter. I was just being dizzy for a living. Also later in this video, shoot me up in the night sky. I was saying like, just kill me, just make me die and let me go with the stars already. Because like my dream is, as I said, to become a superstar. And I've always failed to make it true because of anxiety and because of depression and all of that jazz. And just like save me from time, just shoot me up in the night sky, just free me basically. Also later in this video, along with the heroes of death, and I'm losing my breath with song. With the heroes of death, those who committed suicide and those who died, these ghosts and everyone dead. I'm already dead, like life had already killed me. So when I first arrived here, I used to wear one white contact lens because... Stay with me to hear the full story. Now, let's start. I dream to sing this song one day on stage. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but anyway, this is the meaning of the song. I wrote it in a very, very bad place. Okay, let's start. You're broken on my bone, up on the swine. Been pulling on my knees, it's starting to feel good. That was the time when I was working in somewhere where I was always harassed. I was misused because I was a very helpful person and I like to help everybody, so they made me do everything basically, treat me very badly, make me always go up and down, carry things that were like heavier than me, to a point right now I still have back injury because of it. They didn't appreciate me, so that's that. And I say Napoleon swine is because like Animal Farm, about like this capitalism, and because I was a white person was like basically I saw as a pig, because all she did was just like eat so many meat, and like she's drank a lot of wine. She was a rich person, and back then I once upon a time I had a breakdown because I was gonna go homeless. I was back then during lockdown, and she was like, she's fucking rich. Like I saw her Facebook, she has a pool and everything, she has family and she travels, and she was like, me too, Jack, I'm gonna be homeless because because her business had been, like it's a restaurant, and because of lockdown has been closing. So she was just like being dramatic and was very, very disrespectful the way that she just talked to me, that oh, me too, I'm gonna be homeless, like fuck you, bitch. So yeah, that's that. And I've been pulling on my nails, it's starting to feel good, because like the more before when I was little, I used to self-harm a lot. So this is just like, for me, it's like the more you hurt me, the more I'm starting to feel better about myself. All photographs on my wall save me from time. Photographs on my wall. So back then, I'm probably gonna find the video. I made a short film where I was putting the photographs. When I first arrived in Australia in 2014, I was a student. And these photos really mean a lot to me because I escaped from a toxic home, and these photos were basically me taking photos of things like how I came here and I've seen freedom for the first time, and everything I took photo of was basically something new to me, like each photo. And back then when I was writing the song, these photos were, I put them on the wall. So like, yeah, I always stared at them because I was bored and broke, so I didn't have anything to do. So I was like, just stared at these photos, and saved me from time, as in like I was before smoking weed a lot, and I forgot, like I lost the concept of time, because like when you're in lockdown by yourself and just smoking weed and you have nothing to do, you just don't know, especially you don't have work or anything to do, so you lose concept of time. And it was very boring. Time was very, very long, so saved me from time, as in like I don't know what to do with my time anymore. And I did my best, like not to sleep a lot. I'm like that, I'm very like strong person, so it was even harder, like that you don't allow yourself to sleep a lot, so you have more time, more boring time. How's that? Shoot me up in the night sky. I was saying like, just kill me, just make me die and let me go with the stars already. Because like my dream is, as I said, to become a superstar, and I've always failed to make it true because of anxiety and because of depression and all of that jazz. And just like, save me from time, just shoot me under the night sky, just free me, basically. I am back into my world tonight. That's every time I come back from work, just smoke weed, just back to my bubble, black bubble of pain and anxieties and fears. I just like keep repeating that because just like for me to emphasize the pain of that. Yes. Monopoly or I'm too tag, and as worship I've been back and forth like an for I being caught. I will stand. That's the same topic. Monopoly is the like capitalism, and because I came here as a refugee and I was struggling with my bridging visa. And then I was like, if this person, this capitalist, just like treat me like I am basically nothing, and wants me to live like the same race as them, because I'm gonna just going back and forth. Because like a person who owns a restaurant, it's like a very bad job. Like you don't see your family, you don't have time. You're always just like, she was full-time there. I don't know how she was able to even live, to be honest. Like just wake up every morning. She goes back home very late, and like every day this is her life. And I was like Monopoly and thought I'm too tag. She thought that I will be living the same life as her. And as to worship I've been back and forth like an for I being called. I will stand. And as to worship I've been back and forth. This is like all kinds, as I said in a previous video, I was explaining freak out lyrics. I write poetry, so like the things I write can have so many meanings. So in that worship I've been back and forth, this can mean that I'm going back and forth, like I'm just going in circles. It was very hard back then. Every time I fix my life, I go back to zero. Every time I fix it, I go back to homelessness. Fix it, go back. It was very, very distressing to a point. Like that's why I'm struggling to heal right now, because my life was very distressful. Like when I had my bridging visa and I was waiting for my permanent visa, so I was not eligible for like financial support and stuff, all of that. Even for housing. It's a long story. I don't want to talk about the past anymore. And this also mean I was going back and forth, because back then when I was waiter, the fucking hideous time of my whole life, just I had to be a waiter because I had no experience and I had to live, I had to survive. I didn't have, as I said, financial support or family and friends. So my life as a waiter was just very getting dizzy, just back and forth, going up and down, doing things for people. And I couldn't eat properly back then, like they didn't feed me properly, so I was always dizzy. And the more I was dizzy, the more I made mistakes, and the more I made mistakes, they called me useless. So you can feel like this was only fair for me, that I wanted to contemplate suicide all the time. But yeah, back and forth, just they made me, I was dizzy my whole life basically, especially when I was a waiter. I was just being dizzy for a living. There's once I cried to this wine that I wanted to self-exit even. But she told me she doesn't care, she needs me on the floor, and extended the hours that day even. Surely I make one of the strongest people out there, and I have to try to stay that way. I would stand basking in the light. I would stand and I keep going, and I just stay resilient, basking in the light, still dreaming. Still being positive and hopeful. I was the only person smiling, although like whatever happened, I was the only person still brought joy to that, to every hideous place I went in. I've been in. Cool me up in the fire of my eye. As in like with my fires and rage, cool me up. It's only with my fire and rage where I feel more comfortable, where I can cool up and chill. As in like take me to my fires and flames, because that's where I found my comfort at that point. I'm back into my world tonight. This goes and repeats. Then my favorite part goes like listen to me. Never believe they know who we are. We're the destined ones, they're shooting stars. This is like in general talks about all of the, that's why like I was suffering, because everybody in power So like you have hierarchy like the whole life, and I was in the not even middle class. I was treated like a lower class citizen. Even I wasn't even a citizen. And yeah, and I'm just like, never believe they know who we are. Don't let them think like, oh, they know who we are. Like, we are not their slaves, okay? We're the destined ones, they're shooting stars, because like we are the ones who are like, they're gonna put so down that we are gonna go even above them. We are their shooting stars. We are like the people who make them even entertain them. We're gonna be the people who are going to make them look forward to another day. We're gonna be the people they are gonna look up to, basically. Their guns of feet must have been so obvious. This is like this was inspired by "It's in Your Head" song. The song when she is like said, talks about you know, violence and like this. Go look at the song Zombie, because I don't have time. I don't have low storage on my phone, so I have to quicken it. But if you check out the lyrics of the word zombie, of the song Zombie, you understand this part. But it basically talks about how we have been treated like slaves, have been treated like robots, like sheep. Must have been so obvious, as in like wake up call for those zombies, like the people who are also like, for me that was the Napoleon swine person as well. These people who are, I don't know how to explain it even. These people who are like capitalists, people who are manipulating others, that's what I'm trying to say. Confused, and I've lost my train of thought again. However, we have never signed up for this war. Like, we didn't sign up for all of this misery and tragedy that you have brought onto us. Like, we are innocent. We are not, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you have to open your third eye. Then changes. This is actually 3 songs in one. Now, when I was writing this, was
Here's a snippet of the first song. The second one. This is the third.
Ay, and then there was this never believe they know who we are, and then there's a third part that goes ooh, la 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 la, in a pure white clouds, everything I desire, ooh, la 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 la, in a black suit of pain, and I'm using my pain with song. I'm just like, back then when I was just floating with weed and trying to be happy and chill, in the pure white clouds, everything I desire, like everything that I like is probably going to be in heaven, in my fantasy world, in my dreamland. Ooh. Also, this talks about when I used to struggle years before that period of time. I used to struggle with addiction, and my only escape was white pills and white powder back then. And back then, for me, that was my escape. So that was just basically a tribute to that time. And the more I feel distressed and depressed, I remember that, how happy I were in that time. But of course, I'm sorry, I'm never gonna go back to that. Ooh, la 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 la, in a black suit of pain, and I'm using my brain song. In a black suit of pain. Because like, although I'm so pained, I'm still like so graceful and decent, and I'm like a poet, writer, a writer of pain, poet of pain. And I'm using my brain with song, as in like I'm smart. I use these pains by writing songs and making songs and making like tweeting and singing like a bird out of this pain, to make use of this pain. Long with the heroes of death, and I'm losing my breath with song. With the heroes of death, those who committed suicide and those who died, these ghosts and everyone dead. I'm already dead, like life had already killed me. So when I first arrived here, I used to wear one white contact lens, because my growing up to the point where I escaped from my toxic home into a new country, I was basically already half dead. Life killed me growing up, and then when I came here and I suffered and became homeless, I'm already dead. Basically, I'm just like a living ghost. So I'm singing with all of these unsung martyrs or unsung people who have died or committed suicide and all that. And I'm losing my breath with song. I just keep singing. Alone, and I'm losing my breath with song. Alone, alone. Oh Lord's in need, make us a satire. I don't know how to explain this, like my poetry is so deep. So alone with the heroes of the alone. Oh Lord's in need. Because I don't believe in a God, but I'm just like saying lords of need, as in like all the gods and lords. Like you come to a point where you're so distressed that you just call on the gods of karma, the gods of this whole world, who like whatever, all the energies that made this world, makers of my satire. The satire of the human absurdism of the human life. The satire of our living, makers of my satire. Oh lords in need, like please, whoever made this tragedy, oh please have mercy. Yeah. Then goes back to listen. When stars shed tears, the moonlight hits. When sunlight goes, our sphere. So when stars shed tears, when we people who are like very vibrant and shiny, when we are sad and start crying, the moonlight hits. For me, the moonlight was always there for me. I don't know if you can see my Instagram post where I said I always watched the moonlight. It was my sole friend and companion since I was like growing up. I lived in a room where just like literally bar. So basically I lived in prison my whole life, locked away. And the moon was my friend. And then when I came here, every time I see the moon, you were the only one who knows what I've gone through. This kind of thing. So every time I'm sad, the moon was always there. Even like when I struggled with addiction back then, at some point in life here in Australia, the moon always reminded me to smile. Like literally, I don't know if I was crazy or not, I don't care. At least I found a way to smile. So every time I saw the moon, I just smiled. It reminds me to smile. And it's crazy, like the more how it looks like, if I was full, I just gonna be like smiling, forgetting everything. If I was just like a little smile, I'm just gonna be like a little smiling. I was like mentally disturbed back then. But yeah, at least I found a way for solace. I found a way to lift myself up. That's how sad it is, because I was alone. When sunlight goes out of sphere, I don't like when my optimism just goes out of sphere, just disappears, just go away out of orbit. I'm inked with thousands MVSPs. Okay, let me correct this part for you. I'm inked with thousands of MVSPs. That means like when you are in pain, you start to envy people who have better than you, who have privilege of everything from family and money and everything, and I had nothing my whole life. Even as an artist and writer, I don't have the privilege to like be discovered. But more painful, I didn't have the support around me to make my dream true. And like other people, since they were young, they can sing. But for me, I was basically, singing was a sin for me in the household I lived in. And being just pushed aside basically. Still, I'm not sinning with envy. I'm not sinning with my envious peers, like shooting at everybody and basically being angry at the society because of my misfortune. By the way, the word ink has two meanings, like the despite all the blackness, like all the pain, black ink in me, in my body, and also talks about my tattoos. Like all my tattoos have nothing offensive. All my tattoos have like something to do, like being brave and about love and beautiful things like music, stuff like that. And of course, it has another meaning. It's like a word play for thousands. So I'm inked with thousands of envious peers. This is like of every people who had been like just envying me around me. Yeah, I'm just like people envy me all the time. That I think that's why I've been suffering. The evil eye of envy has always been ruining lives and destroying homes since like the ancient ages. This is the thing, like back then when I was a waiter, people envied how I was always happy to a point. I have so many stories, but I'm gonna give you one story. So people always told me like the person was manipulating me and misusing me. She always told me like to stay with people, like be with the customers, talk to them, but I had social anxiety. And there's once upon a time, literally just after she said that, I went to the customers, I was talking to them, and the customers said like, oh, I saw you on TV, you appeared on TV because like there was like interview to do with you, you're an artist. And I was like talking to them and just like, oh, thank you, stuff. And then literally that person came just like she was like, Jacqueline, go do that, what are you doing? Like you can't just stand alone and talk all day. Just like embarrassing me in front of everybody. This is just only one story, just to make you see like how envious they were. And they hated how people always like told me like I look like Prince, or this only, they loved my style. You can see them, like you can see how green they turn from envy, like from envy, literally, like their eyes like twitching. And like literally after that, when I'm just like sitting with them, drinking water, just like be around them, they start to nag me about everything, like don't put it here. My life was, I'm not gonna, I have other reasons to be distressed at this point. Still, I keep going, mate. I'm still happy. Bring it on, bring it on. Still traveler on the wildest of stars. Exactly, I'm just gonna be a traveler on the wildest of stars. I'm gonna be a traveler, bitch. I'm gonna keep on going. Ooh, shoot me up, back into that song. What's left of me to satisfy, like whatever left of me to satisfy, whatever pride left of me, shoot me up. Just shoot me up, makes me stand. Bring me back to the stars. Help me get back on my feet. Whatever left in me, from energy, from power.
When stars shed tears the moonlight is, when sunlight goes out of sea, I'm made with thousands of pieces, search of the lot of new wildest of storm.
Then back, I'm back into my world tonight. And that's it, goes back to saying like I'm back into my world. This is a song, actually I'm gonna tell you something very important. This song also talks to you about how I'm scared to make it as a singer, because I have nobody to lean on. So if I actually made it as a singer, I'm gonna have panic attacks. If I made on stage, if I can do it, like literally I can, if I want, but the problem is I want to, but I'm afraid because I don't have anybody to lean on, and I'm afraid of the pain. And the more, if I'm actually making this dream true, and then I'm gonna back into my world again when I'm alone, I'm afraid of that. So yeah, this is a song that tells you everything basically about my life before, about how my life had been, about my dream that I want to be a shooting star, and why I'm afraid of it.